What you're looking at here is a boatman. This boatman actually fished twice a year. Early spring, right after ice off, the boatmen come up from the bottom of the lake and they mate. And then again in the fall, they leave the waters and new boatmen come into the lake, and that's when you see them dropping out of the sky and just dive bombing, and it just comes alive with boatmen. And this pattern here is a very good pattern, and I'll show you how to tie that. I use a barbless. I'm using a number 12. It's an emerger hook. I'm going to use a light olive green thread. Tie on my thread. Now I'm going to run my thread towards the rear of the hook because I want to tie on. It's going to look like an air sac. If you take a couple of strands, it's a pearlescent material. It's called a hollow fusion white, but you can use pearlescent, holographic. Tie that on and then curl that around. Then you pull it to make a small bubble or a small circle at the rear. Like so. Cut your excess off. All right. Now, I use a wing material that I cut into. It comes in a little sheet, and I cut a strip. I'm going to tie that on. And then run your thread back to your air sac, making sure you haven't covered it up. Now, the body is going to be thinner at the rear than it is at the eye of the hook. It's a tapered body. I'm going to dub it, and I'm using this ice dub olive brown. It's a good color for this. Once you start keep it fairly thin at the rear, work your way to the front. Now I'm going to work my thread back to not quite halfway back. I'm going to tie the legs on right on top. like so. Now I'm going to put a little more dubbing on the front. Doesn't take very much once you have the body shaped properly. Tighten up the rope. There. Pull the shell back over. It's actually a wings. It represents the wings. Keep it snug, so when you pull down on it, it's going to help hold the legs down. Now, what I do in this case is I'm going to fold it back and then stack thread on top of that. That's going to help form the head. At this point, I'll cut that off. That's the other reason for using the green thread. It helps form the head. There's really not too much to this fly. Now, I'm going to cut this for length. They're fairly long legs. As you can see, that makes a very nice bug. Now, this is an option. You can take your acrylic paint and dab eyeballs on here, and that's your finished bug. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on there. That's all there is to a back swimmer or your water boatman.